Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. If you're joining on the replay, remember you can always ask questions in the comments if you've missed me live and you don't get to ask me live. Also, if it's something that you don't want the world to see, you can always DM me any questions that you have. So today, again, I'm Joanne Krall. I am the Sensible Organizer, and today I'm back with this regular Ask the Sensible Organizer show to talk about tips, my top tips from working from home. This is something that, excuse me, just want to put the comments on. This is something that everybody's talking about, especially those people that have been working from home for quite some time before everybody's kind of been forced to work from home. And while I appreciate everybody putting their tips out there, sometimes you're going to come across tips that not going to work for you. In fact, you may even come across some of my tips that aren't going to work for you. And that's really important for everybody to understand. So if you're somebody who is giving work from home tips, just make sure that people understand that this is what works for you and it may not work for them. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. I've been helping people work from home for a very long time. I've been professional organizing for 14 years. And, you know, I've had clients dispersed all through that time who have worked from home. But in the past 3 years, I've been solely really working with people that work from home. So my first tip is to designate a space to work. So, you know, this has always been a tip of mine. If you're now going to all the time working from home, you really want to find a permanent spot where you're always going to work. That's not saying that you can't grab your laptop and move to the couch or whatever, but you want to have a place where you're set up. Now, a lot of people right now are working from home, and it's really going to be a temporary situation, so they don't really want to make necessarily room for it. So I suggest that I've always suggested that people never work from their bedroom, but you know, I've had to work from my bedroom because everybody's home now. And there are times when I need the silence. Like this morning was hectic. I'm like, I'm going live. I'm trying to create a video before this. And yeah, it's crazy. So, you know, sometimes these rules are definitely being stretched. So finding a space. So you really need to get creative with that. If you're using, say, your dining room table, but that is where you eat, you want to make sure that you're cleaning that off at the end of the day. So, or if you have to use your bedroom, you want to remove all the work from your bedroom because you don't want it kind of sitting in there when you're sleeping. So finding maybe room in a living closet to kind of pack all your stuff away at the end of the day so that you can grab it and work for it there. Or maybe you have an empty bookcase, or you have a bookcase that you can empty a shelf for it, or a cabinet. Just find a place to kind of keep all your work stuff if you don't have a permanent office. If you have a permanent office, that is great. But not all of us do. So that's my first tip. The second tip is to set boundaries with your family members. Now, this is a tip that I've always had for people, and now it's even more difficult. I mean, I'm struggling with this like crazy. Like I said this morning, I got people walking down and making noise, and, you know, I'm doing videos, so that's a problem. But sometimes it just affects your focus too, right? So it's really about setting boundaries, having those conversations before you blow up at everybody. Now, like I said, that's still going to happen because we're all really there's too much closeness. But the important thing is that when you're working on something super important, that you communicate that with everybody. Communication is everything. Sometimes I forget to do that. In fact, this morning, I'll even use me as an example. I told my younger daughter, so she quickly did all her stuff. And then I was going to record a video and I hear footsteps because I forgot to tell my older daughter. So there. So communication is everything, and we just do the best that we can. A big one, and I've always told people this, is to have a household schedule in place for cleaning. Because when you're working from home, and this is even more important because everybody's home, the dirt and the clutter and everything builds up so much faster. So when you have a routine, it makes things easier. And if your routine is, you're able to do it without interrupting your workday, that's even better. You know, working from home, you're staring all that stuff in the face. So it's really good to just to have something in place. I'll talk about something that I have after at the end of this, a free challenge that of my program of how I manage my day-to-day work stuff, home stuff while I'm working at home. But routines are really important, which brings me to another tip is try to eat your lunch at the same time every day. So, try to keep your same schedule. I think that, in these tips, again, are applying to all we're dealing with now with this virus, like being home all the time. But I think that they can help us during this time too. My daughter and I were just saying this morning, like, we need to set the alarm because, we could just sleep as long as we want now, because while she has classes on some days virtually, she doesn't have them on every day. So it's a struggle trying to, you get to sleep in late one day, you get up early the next day. It's just really not good for our rhythm. So try to keep a routine as much as you possibly can. And then don't work from your pajamas. Don't work in your pajamas. We all want to be comfy. We're at home, and that's easy for me to say because when I was working with people in person, I wore yoga pants and my athleisure wear all the time. So that's pretty much what I wear. Although I've been wearing jeans every day because that's my method of not overeating. But get dressed for the day. It really does affect your productivity. Now, that all said, I put these 5 tips out to my email list, and then I shared them with a friend of mine, and he said not one of these tips would work for him, and that's super valid. I mean, it is so true. His brain doesn't work that way, and that's okay. So the important thing is to take all these tips and all the tips that you've been hearing, and certainly try them. But if they don't work for you, you're not a failure. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. You just have to really analyze. So say eating lunch at the same time every day isn't something that you need to do. Maybe it's not a big deal. Then it's okay. It's really for the people that are, at home and not thinking about, when you're in an office, a lot of times you're thinking about the time because you're watching the clock for when you can go home and all of that. And, when you're at home working, the time just fluctuates, so it's a lot easier to be not structured. So those are my tips. I don't see any, but I saw some people pop in, but I don't see any questions. So I'm going to keep this under 10 minutes so that I can share it elsewhere. But if you have any questions, just pop them in. Again, you can DM me anything if you want to keep them private. Maybe share any tips that you've tried that people have shared that haven't worked for you, or maybe even share with me some successes you've had because I can use that to help other people. So that's that. Now, I have a 7-day challenge. I don't want to call it a challenge. I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to put it in the comments as well. But I have this challenge, and this is really simply just 7 days of a home program that I have. And this is something that I give to my clients who work from home because it's to build the structure in the home. They're working from home. They need that structure, in the cleaning and the decluttering because clutter is a huge distraction. So that is free. And you can just go through the 7 days, or even if you just want to check it out and maybe you say, all right, I can think of how I'm going to apply that to my life. And, it's all about chipping away, letting go of perfectionism and letting go of stuff. And then what I'm working on now, and that was what I was creating a video for before this, is I'm going to be opening up some free co-organizing sessions. The first is Friday. So I'm going to put that link in here as soon as I finish the opt-in page, which I'm going to be doing right after this. And that is going to be 2-hour sessions on Zoom with about 12 other people. I'm going to try to limit it to 12, where we talk about your organizing, we work on organizing projects. So there'll be more information coming on that. And so again, I want to keep this under 10 minutes so I can share it everywhere. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope you're all well and healthy. And thank you again. I appreciate you.